We are in the Great Awakening and in the midst of so much happening on the planet as we dissolve the old structures and we create the new earth all at the same time, dissolving, transitioning, interment, the body's talking to us. We are experiencing so much that it can be hard to find our center. And in this episode, we're going to be exploring ways to allow the alchemy to happen through us, by us, for us, as us. And we have the wonderful Susan Kennard back with us. Susan, who's the spiritual scientist who channels beautiful ascended masters, and today actually gifts us a wonderful rainbow light healing to support us through the sense of overwhelm. Join us to find out more.
Soul Nectar Show, the Soul Nectar Show. You're invited, delighted to discover who you are. Anything is possible if you believe. So join us on this beautiful journey. Soul Nectar Show, Soul Nectar Show.
Well, hello and welcome to another episode of Soul Nectar Show, that show where we talk about all things essence, where we gather around the campfire and we share our stories of connection to that which is greater than us, to the big mystery beyond the veil, to those synchronistic moments that lead us inexorably towards a deeper understanding of ourselves and what we're doing here on earth and what is going on at this time of the Great Awakening. And I am your host, Carrie Hummingbird. And you know, I love these conversations week after week, especially when I get to invite good friends back for a conversation. I'm so excited today. And today, you know, what's really, and we have Susan Kennard here, and I'll tell you a little bit about her in a second if you have not seen her yet. But if you've been watching my show for a while, you have seen Susan before, and give you a little update about what Susan's doing. But right now, we were talking before the call, and what's really coming up in our hearts is that we are in the midst of the alchemy of earth. We're in the midst of that transfiguration of the old paradigm into the new. And we're the last vestiges of the Piscean age, right? Where I think we're going to have another little wink, you know, coming up in the fall, but then it's going to be all Aquarius. So we are in this alchemy process. We're in the dissolution of the old. We're in the midst of that word I got from one of my teachers, Gary Starnes, said the word interment. Interment is that feeling you get inside your body when everything's like transforming and you're transforming and your stomach's doing its best to keep up with all that. And yeah, and like it's hard to, I mean, up until now, it might be challenging in the midst of all of that alchemy process to know the right thing. Like there's no more clear right thing in this moment. It's like that is a thing of the past. So like any way that we would have figured out the right thing before is kind of missing, and we're not really sure what to do next. And that's part of the excitement of being here. And it's also like, where's our grounding? Where's our footing in the middle of this dust storm that's gotten kicked up and everything's been whirligigging around and disappearing? And so what is our new ground, and how can we hold ourselves with grace through this transition? And also with a lot of excitement, you know, rather than going into fear, like, oh, this isn't looking the way it used to look, and that must be bad. And all this whole idea of bad and good and everything is like all up for reconsideration. And so to join me in this powerful conversation, of course, is Susan Kennard. Welcome, Susan.
Thank you. Thanks, Kay, for inviting me back again.
Yeah, I'm so grateful to have you back. Susan is a spiritual scientist with a wealth of experience and passion for healing and transformation. She's got a background in psychology and psychotherapy spanning over 25 years. And she's lately been dealing with all kinds of amazing channeling sessions and books and just incredible things going on. She just released her book last year. It's called Awaken the Light Within Your Heart, and it was published by Hay House. So congratulations on that. and just got so much media going on and just beautiful podcasts, The Spiritual Awakener. I've been over on that podcast before as well. And got a new children's book coming out. So we're going to talk about a lot of, you'll get her full bio down in the show notes below. And I'll put a link also to the other episodes that we've done. But Susan, like, I know that you channel higher guidance, like I channel White Eagle, you channel the masters as well. And I know that they have really good news for us today. So I would love to hear your thoughts on how do we stay sane through the dissolution of the psychosis.
Well, we were talking before, as you said, before we started to record, and I think the major thing that the guides have said before, and they constantly say, is that actually it's not that there is an old earth and a new earth, but that there is a melding or a kind of dissolving into the new earth. So we're starting to see that, that parts of us, and we were talking about it before, parts of us are still kind of like, I call it 1 foot in the old earth paradigm and all of our other feet in the new earth paradigm, and I say it like that because for me to kind of visualize it, it's like most of us is in this new frequency, but there's still a little tiny bit of us that's in the old, the old kind of structure. And when we think about, I'm an astrologer as well, as you know, and when we think about what Pluto has just done, it was in Capricorn, and it was in Capricorn for a long time. It's now gone into Aquarius, which is for humanity. Capricorn was very much about government, structure, control, order, and perhaps we were getting our lives in order, at that time. And now we're in this place where, wow, okay, where can we expand to? This is Aquarius, the age of Aquarius, which was sung about a long time ago, and we're stepping into that new age. But we've still got this, we're only, we call it the, in astrology, the anaretic degree. And Pluto has just gone from that end degree into the first degrees of Aquarius. So we're still in that bit, and we're kind of thinking, oh, 1 foot's there, 1 foot's there. And we're talking about, I was talking about my children and being teenagers and how they've come into this world at this time, and they are really pushing against this old paradigm and this old structure. And we were both saying, well, we're still a little bit in that. So we still need to get up, we still need to pay our bills, we still need to show up, and we were laughing about it and saying that, actually the teenagers are struggling with that a little bit because they just want everything to be flowing, and they probably know a lot more than we do as adults, right? So yeah, to answer your question, I really feel like we're in this place where really truly remembering who you are is so key right now, and it has been for a long time, but it's coming up in so many places where when you remember who you are, you remember you're not on your own, and you remember that your divine being of you is here for a really important reason. You can kind of step a bit more away from the old paradigm of being told what to do, told what to do. Show up for this, you have to do this, and that's the way it is. Our old ancestral patterns, the guides are saying, our old ancestral, that's just what you do. Well, actually, now what you do is what your soul is guiding you to do.
Yeah, and that getting that clear read on the soul is what I find interesting, right? Because we also still have an egoic personality that is still resisting soul direction, for many people, and especially young people haven't quite gotten there yet, right? Depending on timing. So that discernment of, is this desire from my soul or is this desire from my personality? And so guiding in that, I think, is I'm realizing my main service to my well, obviously my clients, but also my kids, right? Is like helping them see, oh, okay, if you're going for comfort, you're probably going for your egoic personality, right? Is like slow it down, put the brakes on. I don't want any problems. I want to be safe. I want to, and if you're kind of closing in on yourself, if you're contracting, then you're probably in your egoic personality versus your soul, which is expansive, wants to be here, wants to experience things, wants to explore, wants to learn and grow and make choices and get out there and the chaos
Try
is
things new.
okay with the soul. The soul's fine with chaos. The soul's like, that's
Yeah,
great. That means alchemy's happening, right?
yeah, yeah, absolutely. And actually, the soul needs to experience things that it wanted to experience, right? And we take off the jacket. If we took off the jacket, which is our physical body, our vehicle, the soul would know exactly what it's supposed to be experiencing. And of course, when we have our vehicle or our body starts to show us messages, then we know that we're not listening to our soul. And so it's a really, really good barometer, an indicator for us that if there's something going on with our body, and I have a disclaimer, I'm not a doctor and I don't claim to heal or cure, but however, I do know that our body is holding our soul. So and we can't argue that, right? That is true. So our body is just a perfect vehicle, and we just listen. We just listen to it, and then it gives us that indication of when we are slightly out of alignment with our true unconditional love of remembering who we are, but also why we are here.
Yeah, and I just don't get the sense and I could be wrong, so I'm willing to have anything open up here in this moment, but it feels to me like that the adventure of life that many of us have been experiencing who chose transformational paths, those of us who said yes to evolution earlier and have been walking that path are during part of our lives or all of our lives, that we have been experiencing what the collective is now entering into the option to experience, which is that there are initiations, there are new experiences, there are unexpected redirections, there are, and then there's the balancing of the total self, right, in realignment to whatever the realization is that's opening up through that experience, through that initiation. And it's not comfortable all the time. Like it's
No.
uncomfortable in the
Yeah.
body to feel that internment, to feel that. I remember, Susan, I was in the jungle in November and I was integrating. I was on a medicine journey and owl called to me and I said, I want to see through owl's eyes. And then my stomach started getting upset. It was like crunching and doing all this kind of weird stuff. And I was like, ooh, this is weird, but like I was seeing through owl's eyes and I felt like I was flying with owl. And
Wow.
afterwards, I asked the shaman, I said, so like, I was getting this experience. He says, yeah, integrat. You're integrating
Great.
owl. And so,
Mm.
yeah, when we go on initiations or when we open up to
Yeah.
energies and even our soul, yeah, we're gonna feel that energy coming in. We're gonna feel,
That's great, isn't it? Because we
right?
can listen to it and we can go,
Yeah.
wow, okay, that's interesting. And we in the science kind of, side of things call it a healing peak when there's something going on in your body and you've kind of made acceptance that this is new, this is healing, this is amazing. Then your body goes, whoa, okay, cool, this is great, this is where I'm supposed to be. So we call it a healing peak, in meta health, which gives us the permission to say, wow, my clever body, how amazing is my clever body, rather than seeing it as, there's something wrong with my body, or there's a problem, which I
Yeah, we're
think is
getting out of that
really
problem
different.
mentality, right? Like
Yeah,
this is a problem that I am
yeah.
like this, or and see, this is where I get confused, or and maybe that's just my shadow, right? Is because the old part of me, the old paradigm me goes, it's not okay to lie in bed all day for like
Yeah,
weeks at a time. Like that's depression or that's inertia or that's, you
Yeah.
know, that you're getting stuck in something that feels dark and heavy and dense, and it's like not going anywhere, it's not progressing.
Mm.
You know, then my Western trained paradigm mind goes, oops, that's bad. You know, you've got to get up out of bed and get your day started and be productive and have your schedule. And but like I also know that there's been periods of my life where I went through sort of a cocoon like that, where I went through these phases where like I was sleeping a lot, I was
Mm.
investigating myself a lot, and that
Yeah.
seemed to push me forward later. So I think everything is called into question in terms of what's healthy and what's not healthy. And that's why it's hard for me as a mom. Like, I don't know how to proceed right now, right?
Yeah.
Because everything is changing.
And my daughter's doing the same. So she's at college, but she'll stay up really late, like an owl, funny enough, into the night, into the early hours, and then sleep. So she'll sleep and she might not get up until, if she's not at college that day, she won't get up until like midday, maybe even 1, in the afternoon. And I'm like, the sun's shining. Not often, but occasionally it is here in the UK. The sun's shining, the daylight's there. Why are you wasting your day in bed? But it's a really good point. Actually, maybe the body's healing. Maybe, she's integrating something. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess have to imagine that these frequencies that are pummeling the
Mm,
planet
good point.
are like causing, because I even have a little bit of a something the last few days where I've had like
Oh,
a little allergies or a little something in my
yeah.
throat, and you know, a little tickle, and I don't normally get sick. So I was
Yeah.
like, there's something going on. I'm integrating or I'm purging something because these light codes are coming in, right? And they're causing
So many. Yeah.
content to come up and out, be released, especially through the throat chakra. It feels like we're learning how to speak our
And
truth right now.
that's our sacral as well, isn't it? So that's our, Kerry, if we think about it, the throat chakra is connected to our sexual energy, which is our divine energy. So it's our sacral and divine. So we have to be connected to all of that to express. Mm.
That's really interesting. I'm going to go explore some of that topic later. I had a nice date night with my husband last week, and then after which all of this came up, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go take a look at
Interesting.
that and just see if maybe some
Instead
new
of,
higher frequencies were received.
yeah, oh, very good. Yeah, the what the guides are showing me is they're showing it sort of like not so much like a Kundalini energy, but more about the connection to the sacral, obviously, our creative power, yeah, our sexual energy, but that connection to the heart and to the throat. And so being able to express our creativity through our voice or through our words, whatever, we choose, however we choose to express. And so maybe, yes, maybe something shifted within that, Kerry, that opened up another level of creativity.
Yeah, I
It's a
definitely think so. You know, I mean, because on a transformational journey, right, we
mm,
go through all kinds of experiences
yeah.
that, especially I've realized over the past couple of days that I have Pluto complex in my astrology. And
Where is it?
I
Where?
started realizing what that was. And I was
Yeah.
like, oh
What
my
house is it in though? What
gosh,
house?
I would have to go look that up.
Oh,
But
okay. Mm,
I had this series of audios on the Pattern app, and I was listening to about, and I was like, yes, this is how my life has felt. Oh my goodness, this is crazy, and it's kind of chaotic, you know, like there's chaos. And my son and I, my eldest son and I, have the same Pluto complex,
mm,
so it's like no wonder we resonate together on certain things because it's the transformational path. It's the path of
mhm,
alchemy,
mhm.
and we're not here to stay the same. And so I think mine probably runs through my sacral chakra or something like that, because I am here. I've been called to heal the mother wound. I've been called to, you know, reclaim the divine feminine, the matriarchal figure, as doesn't have to be like this pure vessel of never having sex. It's like, no,
Yeah.
actually, you have sex, like women have sex. And that's how we have
But
kids.
it's your divinity, so it's
By the way,
connected, isn't it, Kerry?
it's connected.
Your divinity. So you're, you know, when there's many expressions, isn't there? Like, um, oh my God, like, you know, I've reached bliss, you know, like, well, that is our connection to source. That is who we are. That is, you know, our true energetics. And so, quite often, and I know a lot of people probably know this, but when you orgasm, that's a great time to actually manifest something amazing in your life. It's like use it for that purpose, right? And so, you know, and I'm a very barefoot, you know, psychic. You know, I talk about these things, and I think it's really important to be very grounded about it as well, and just say, you know what, actually, we are a sexual being, we are a divine being of light, but we have a physical body, and we were choosing, and we chose to experience emotion and feelings. You know, when we have a great meal, when we, if we drink wine, we have a choice of a good organic wine. If we, you know, enjoy walking with our feet in the sea, I love snorkeling in beautiful oceans. You know, that to me is like a sensation of just absolute gorgeousness. And we were meant to. That's what a physical body is about, isn't it? You know, we were meant
It's
to
about
experience.
experiencing pleasure. And,
Yeah.
so I just looked up my chart. I couldn't resist. So, yeah, Pluto shows up in my 10th house.
Well, there you are. So the, you know, 10th house is very much about, you know, my public image, my career, my kind of like, you know, who am I in the world, and my achievements as well. Mm.
And kind of like whether people like me or not. That has been such a big struggle in my
That
life
might be
up
your
until
Chiron.
now.
That'd be your Chiron though. Where's your Chiron? Whereabouts is your Chiron?
Let's see.
Which that's the wounded part. What, that's what we come in with.
Now, Chiron is in my 5th house.
Yeah, what sign?
And the outer wheel is I'm looking at it.
No, the inner wheel. What's the sign that it's in?
The sign it's in is I'm trying to see that.
Is it Aries?
Yeah, Aries.
Yeah, I had a feeling. Well, I was just seeing it in my mind. But so Aries, so basically Chiron is transiting Aries now. It has been for a
Oh,
while. I have the same house. So you must be Sagittarius rising, because we have the same, yeah? You must be Sagittarius rising because it's my chart. It's exactly the same. So basically the Chiron in Aries, yeah? Sag
I
rising.
don't know. I have to get better at this.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Doesn't
So
matter. Okay.
if you've got Chiron,
I have a Sagittarius ascendant.
the same. Yeah, there you
Okay.
go. So yeah, I knew that because of the Aries in the 5th house, right? So basically Chiron, and this is for everybody. So wherever your Chiron is in your chart, um, is an indication of your journey towards your mission. So if you think, and this is kind of just how I see it, so as an intuitive astrologer. So if you look at your Chiron and where it is, so in our case, for example, this, because we have the same, right? So Chiron in Aries. So it's about our creativity. It's about our childhood. It's about the inner child healing. It's about romance. It's about joy. And so mine's at 3 degrees. Tell me what your degree is, but mine's at 3 degrees. So at age 3, I fell into a pond and nearly, you know, kind of
Uh,
drowned, right? So there is my little bit of Chiron. So the whole of my mission is to help people to heal those parts of them
hmm.
that stop them from bringing in their true creative flow of their mission. My mission is to help people in their mission. And it has been a journey of child protection, trauma specialist, all of that, working towards the true, you know, inner child. For you,
It was
healing
6 degrees. Yeah.
6, yeah. So it might make sense to you. So healing the mother wound is what you were talking about. So that's very much about the child, isn't it? It's like, you know, the child in the womb, you know, the mother. So this kind of thing. So it makes sense. So your mission, so what, if this is for everybody, so wherever your Chiron is, your wounded part of you is what you are healing on this in this lifetime to create the journey to the mission, to be of service and be an alchemist, be, living your abundant life, living your birthright. So this is great. We didn't even know we were going to talk about this, but this is very apt right now because Chiron is transiting Aries. Aries is the north node. So this is all about collective destiny. Okay. So they're kissing each other at the moment. They're literally next to each other. So it doesn't matter if you've got Chiron in Aries or not, you still will be feeling this in your Aries part of your chart. And this is your destiny, but it is the collective destiny. So that's why, and we were talking before we went live, that's why there is this feeling of, I kind of feel like I'm here, but I'm not here. And I'm in this bit here and I feel like I'm moving to the next paradigm or the next timeline of experience, but I'm still a bit here. And that's why we're feeling like that, because
yeah, and what's coming up for me just like as an inner experience is like more awareness on long thought patterns that I've held for a long time coming to the surface in new situations and in a way that I know that it's not true and giving me a chance to go, oh, that's an old thought pattern, or oh, that's from my childhood, or oh, that's when I was, felt ostracized by little kids in my town, or that's, and that's not what happened right now. So like, this is why we have to we don't have to, but why I find it useful to place myself in places where I'm experiencing other people as mirrors, right? In a context, because then stuff gets stirred up automatically just by being part of a community like that. And I will start to see these things in my mind, even if nothing ever happened in the space. I would go, oh my gosh, there's something going on. And that's also why it's kind of fun to be, a mentor, right, to other people, because then that also comes up too. So it's like, oh, okay. Like running a community or building right now, building community is really big. I want you to talk about that. Building community is like what New Earth is all about, right? It's about relationship. It's about relationship with our inner aspects, relationship with our outer aspects, healing those relationships, getting the remembrance of us being connected to all that is, all the life forms on the planet, being the stewards of the planet. Like we're building community now around all of this consciousness. So talk a little bit about that, if you will.
Yeah. So community obviously has always been really important. There's a few things that I want to say here. There was quite a lot of research that was done with people that were drug users that were in prison. They kind of loads of things had happened to them, and they kept repeating going back to prison and so on. And what they did was that they took them out of prison and they literally put them in the middle of the forest or somewhere like that, in a community where they all lived together. I think there were about 20 of them, and they had mentors and they had people to support them. But eventually what happened is they all started to support each other. They all started to live, and they all stopped wanting, to commit crimes. They stopped wanting drugs. They stopped drinking, all of this stuff, and they transformed through community. So that's the first thing I wanted to say. So instead of incarcerating people, is it possible that what the person is missing is that community? It's one thing, right? The other thing that I want to say is that the South Node is in Libra, and it has been for like 15 months or so. And we're just about to have an eclipse. So we're recording this, in the end of February 2024. And as we step into March, which is just a few weeks away, exactly probably a month's time, we've got this eclipse in Libra. And this is basically about relationships. So it's perfect you said this. So we're literally going through a transformation of the relationship to self, which is exactly what you said, our relationship to our divine relationship, but also a relationship to the mirrors around us, the mirrors of our own relationships. And as we go through that, there will be many relationships that will leave our life, and there will be many relationships that will come in. And it's because we are transforming ourselves, and it doesn't matter who you are, this is happening. Okay, so the communities that you have, so I have a soul family, the Soul's Mission membership. I'm sure Kerry has her own community as well. It's important that you feel safe in your community. One of the things that I talk about a lot in my community is that there's no hierarchy, there's no kind of I'm teaching you. It's us as a soul family, and there's a place of safety within that soul family, and that's what people talk about all the time, is that they feel they can share. And I think that's what's really important, because yes, we have our own families, and sometimes, you know, we've chosen really well. Of course, we've chosen great mothers, great fathers, great siblings that we've had many times before with, but sometimes we're not able to say exactly what we feel about our spiritual journey, and we chose that for a reason, right? But that doesn't mean that we don't love them, because I love you so much I don't care what you think, right? But to actually find a community that holds space with you as you hold space with it and with them is a beautiful, the guides are saying, a beautiful expansion of your soul. So you're able to be in relationship with yourself without thinking, can I say this? Can I not say that? And I think this is really important for everybody. It always has been. But yes, with this South Node eclipse coming up, it's really important, because we're going to be purging so much now.
I'm glad you said that. And you know, safety is such an interesting conversation for community, because it's the safety of the capacity of the space holders, right? So whoever's holding the space. And I have been really blessed to have some longtime students that have been with me for a long time that are now space holding with me, right? So, and then everybody that graduates ends up space holding with me. So we're all holding it together. It's our community. And then new people come in, they feel like the more new people that come in, they feel so much held, because everybody that's been through the training already is like holding space and it's still continuing to deepen, right? So it's like amazing, right? And because I can't hold it myself, because I'm a manifestor this time around, so I know I must have community, right? I must rely on others. And so, but what I found is that the clear agreements, we're talking about clarity also before the call, and communication. And it's really important to have clear guidelines, right, for how people can interact, and what's like what they can share and how they can share it in a way that serves everyone, right? Because we have some people that are emotionally centered, and we have big emotions, and we have lots of emotional content, and we need a space where we can like release that, or talk about it, or process it. But then we have other people that get flooded by emotion, right? Like they have a different design type, and they don't have their own emotions, but when other people have emotions, they feel taken out by that. And so we also need to hold space for them. So we've got to be sensitive to the needs of like everybody in the communities. I wonder what wants to come through about that, because that's definitely up for me right now in my spaces.
Yeah, I mean, I can only talk about my experience, but my experience, and what I'm guided to share here, is that as we feel, and this is the empath kind of label that we get given a lot, is as we start to feel really safe within, and the guides are saying we trust within, that we feel this sense of trust within. We also have that sense of trust without, meaning in our mirror. So therefore, we're not so much attached or connected to the energy of other people's emotions, because we're in our center of, thank you, of peace and trust. Okay, so when we do see or feel another emotion, it's a really beautiful experience to say, oh, I wonder where that is within me. What part of me do I need to give compassion to? Okay, so for example, And a really good way to do it, and it's very fast, is if you're around somebody that is really struggling, and we work with a lot of people, Kerry, right? So really struggling. The really good thing to do is to acknowledge by saying, and you feel upset or something, you feel angry or upset or frustrated or sad, you just acknowledge it by saying, I'm so sorry you feel so, whatever it is. So let's just say sad, for example. And what you're doing is you're accessing that part of you, inner child, that part of you. You don't know how old you are. You don't know when it was. It could have been in the womb. It could have been whatever age. But you're accessing that part of you that felt that emotion that wasn't held or contained in that moment. Does that make sense? So then when you are with that other person, you don't have that charge on that anymore because you've come into compassion of yourself. I find that really, really powerful.
Yeah,
And
that is so powerful. I'm glad you shared that. And that's exactly what is meant by not doing spiritual bypasses, right? I mean, that's what that means, is that when we actually allow life to deliver situations to our doorstep that might cause a feeling in our bodies or a discomfort or a grittiness or whatever it is, that we take that moment, right, to drop inside, knowing that if we're feeling it inside of us, there's a wound inside of us too. Like that's a
yeah, even
matching
if it's an
picture,
itty bit, even if it's that
even if it's
itty bit,
tiny.
yeah,
But like being compassionate with that part of ourselves is what heals and alchemizes that, so that our vessel is more. Because honestly, now after I've done this work season, like I guess I'm out of touch with other people's experiences sometimes because I don't feel that anymore. Like I feel just compassion for whatever someone's going through, but I don't feel
right,
drugged through the mud anymore, you know?
right,
But I
yeah,
know people do feel that because I've seen it and they've voiced it. And it's like, oh, goodness. Okay. Well, how can we, make this container better for you in order to give you the space to process? Right. But it's
right.
always a personal journey and there's no avoiding that. We can't skip that piece because it's ours. It's inside of us. It's from our soul history that's here to be cleaned and healed right now. Right.
Yeah. And that's a really good point, Kerry, actually, that, it is our soul history. And I always believe, and once again, this is my just what I've noticed over the many years of working with this, is that actually nothing starts in this lifetime, nothing starts in childhood, whether we've been abused, whether we've experienced abandonment, whatever it is, it didn't start here, but it got triggered here. And so it's accessing, I find it really helps to access that inner child work, because essentially what we're doing is we are, I call it a domino effect. So it's a calming, centering, trust part, know thyself part, no, I'm not on my own part, accessing that part of us that was from timeline after timeline. And then we can get to the point where, yeah, if we choose to look into the Akashic records, if we choose to say, well, actually, this is coming up in my life. It just feels like it's constantly coming up in my life. I'm like, well, okay, you can actually have a look and ask to go into your own Akashic realms, your own experience, and say, wow, I'm choosing to release that now, accessing it and releasing it. So we definitely can look into the other lifetimes, but if we start by giving ourselves compassion in this experience of the now, it's the sum of the parts of all of the nows that we've experienced before. So I definitely feel, in my book, Awaken the Light Within Your Heart, in the third part of the book, so we might say the last section, there are many different processes in there that are inner child healing. And they're ones that I use, with my groups and my clients and so on an ongoing basis. And I find them really, really powerful. But in my book, you can do it yourself. So it's a self-healing book, but it's also on Audible. So I've
I was going
recorded
to
it as
ask.
well. Yeah. So
Yeah.
that because people said that my voice was really calming, and I think it's to do with the English accent as well.
We like it.
But yeah, but people like the English accent for some reason. Um, but yeah, so I take you through the processes with my voice, and of course, part of the book is channeled by the guides as well. So of course, as I'm speaking it, the healing energy is coming through. But anyway, so there's lots of things to think about there, but I definitely feel that the community side and really taking responsibility for what we have in our life and saying, you know what, it's not a blame for that person, it's not a blame in the government, it's not a blame in my bank account, it's not a blame in my body, but just kind of really coming, as you said, come really into that journey within and saying, okay, all right, I'm responsible. Let's just see what can transform. And I know I'm a divine being of light, and I know there's a reason why I'm here. I may not know what it is right now. That's okay. I'm just going to go on this healing journey. And I think you and I both see people transform to a level where they can heal their bodies, they can heal their relationships, they can heal the whole of their experience of this human by going on those journeys.
Yeah, and it's necessary to embody as the soul at this time, right? Because we actually, the human part of us doesn't really know what's possible. The human part of us is the programmed part, right? It only knows what's been possible. It doesn't know what is actually possible. This is like hummingbird medicine, right? Which is open up the soul access,
Yeah.
is the one that knows what's possible and is here for that. And so we have to trust ourselves. I love that you're saying that. We have to trust that capital S self. And I love it because you're saying you shared with me before we started the call that there are 3 pillars of abundance. Even in the midst of all of this chaos that's happening, people, we can be abundant. We can be abundant in the midst of the dissolution, in the midst of the chaos. Even while it's falling apart, we can be building. It's not like we have to wait till everything falls apart and then we can build. No, we're building as it's falling apart. And that's okay. And so, do you want to share the 3 pillars of abundance? Because it follows on what you just talked about. And I think that's powerful.
Yeah. So I kind of, as all my work, I kind of stumble upon it and I get downloads and so on over the years. And just recently, when I was bringing something through, the guide said, it's the 3 pillars of abundance. And I said, okay. And the first pillar is know thyself. So not just know who you are on an intellectual level, that you know you're a soul having a human experience, actually really know that there is nothing outside of you that is not you. And money is not outside of you. It is you. Love is not outside of you. It is you. Yeah. And I think when we can look at those tangible things and we think they're outside of us, but they're actually not, they are actually us. So then we can say, okay, know thyself, that we are not, God is not outside of us. And I'm not religious, so I'm not going to speak in that way, but God is not outside of us. It is, we are source, we are creator, and we are God's source, right? So when we look at something outside of us, we are creating that feeling that we are separated, and we are never separated. We are, in fact, we are here. This spark of light is here in this human form, but we are also in every experience we've ever had, in every timeline, in every shamanic life we've had, every ancestral energy, every galactic experience. I love the galactics, work with them a lot. They'll probably come in actually. We're everything. So know thyself is the first pillar. And it doesn't have to be perfect, but on that journey of knowing thyself, know that you're not on your own is the second pillar. When we feel we're on our own, when we feel we're doing everything on our own, we're forgetting that we have an incredible community of beautiful spirit team, angelic presence, galactic guides, of course, But our counsels of light are so with us. And we just need to invite, and they assist us, and we are never on our own. We didn't choose to come and do this job on our own. It was fun. It was, let's play on the stage of life, you know, with our soul. Let's have a play. You know, is it Shakespeare? We are but mere actors upon a stage of life. I would prefer to say we are in the audience of the stage of life, because as we're in the audience, we can view it and we can choose whether we want to get on the stage or we want to be in the audience and just look and observe the mirror, right? But that is the second one. The second pillar of abundance is know that you're not on your own, okay? That you have your guidance. The third pillar of abundance is know why you're here. So that doesn't necessarily mean that you know exactly the details of why you're here, but that you are starting to remember that you're not just here to, you know, do nothing. You're here because you are so important to this ascension, this transformation that we've chosen to experience right now. And this isn't the first time you would have done it. You know, this is not the first time you would have chosen to be part of something magnificent. And that you are really pivotal. That whether you are just being in your energy and you're walking along a seafront or walking in the woods or talking to someone, you know, one day that walks past you, you give them a smile, that is pivotal on your mission. You don't have to necessarily have a specific job, okay? It's really important that you know that you're here for a really important reason, and that is to spread your light. So those three pillars of abundance I was given because when we have those three pillars of abundance to at least 50%, okay, then the doorway opens and the universe opens the doors for us to have experiences of joy, meet the people we need to meet in our life. The synchronicities come in, the white feathers, your white feather, the white feather, the, you know, the songs that we hear in our mind, you know, the animals that cross our path. We have many, 2 parrots, a cat and a dog. You know, these, you know, all of these beautiful experiences start to happen. And yeah, thank you. And we become much more grateful because we're in that place of remembering who we are. Mm-hmm. And so abundance and money, which are part of who we are, our birthright, starts to flow. And this is what the 3 pillars of abundance really are.
Oh, I love that. It's really beautiful. Thank you for sharing all that.
Thank you.
I mean, this is one of the reasons why I open Sacred Space every day, right? Is to give permission to invite my allies to support me and to receive that trance state, you know, that we get in the shamanic journey, and to live my life from that trance, and to open up access to all the abundance I experience. The abundance I experience that I enjoy the most is the mystery, is the alchemical, magical, synchronistic conversations, energies that come through. That, I mean, that's completely abundant for me. And yeah, like also embracing the material, worldly abundance and all of that. It's, you know,
freedom. Really,
yeah,
freedom, right? Yeah.
Exactly. And taking a journey of this great awakening, and what does it even mean, and how does it even work? And I think that when you were talking, when you're talking about your purpose, I was thinking about my son, right? And I was thinking, like, he's probably doing his purpose right now. It's just that that's what it looks like, right? And to my, you know, my conditioned human mind, it's like, well, that's not, you know,
I'm with you.
Supposed to be doing, you know, but you know, but that's, you know, that's just my conditioned human mind. That's one of the reasons why I have these questions, and then I don't take a lot of action, because I'm just go, okay, I'm going to let it unfold. I don't know what's coming next. And yeah, so I think that stillness, I would add, I guess, is like just adding in some stillness to let things settle before jumping to conclusions. That's something I'm inviting myself to on a daily basis right
It's
now.
not that easy though, is it? Is it,
Mm-mm.
Carrie? It's not, we have to also accept that sometimes sometimes we're just not going to be calm. Sometimes things are going to get to us. And I think
Mm.
that's really important as well, to be authentic with it, because yeah, we might hold space for a lot of people, and we might, live our lives very abundantly, which we do, but it doesn't mean that every single day of the week we are living, in a place where nothing ever triggers us. And I
Right.
think
And
that's
if we are, we're
important.
limiting ourselves. I mean, I think
We're
if we're
being
doing
sourced.
that,
What's the point of being here
yeah,
if we
we're
can?
here to like
Yeah,
experience the whole range, right? Everything. And that's that, yeah, they've been telling me lately, like every time you open sacred space over something and you create a protective container for it, you're kind of shielding yourself from the experience of life that could be happening for you if you just trusted that life was going to deliver you
right.
something really awesome. So can you like just open that just a teeny bit, Carrie Hummingbird? Just like
Yeah,
let us
yeah,
in. And it's like,
yeah.
yes,
That's
and
really good, isn't it?
don't freak me out. Yes, and
Yeah.
to
Be
my
careful what you ask
capacity to
for, right?
handle. Yeah.
Be careful what you ask for. But you know, and I can see the galactics kind of gathering here. The rainbow galactics, a similar color to my background, come in quite a lot at the moment. And I asked them why they call themselves, and they said because we are a galactic collective for ascension, and we hold the rainbow frequency of
Cool.
ascension. So, it's like baked beans, it says what it is on the tin, right? And because I was trying to get them to give me some sort of really kind of cool name, and they're like, no, the Rainbow Galactic. But they step in, and I just wonder what they want to do. Okay, okay. So yeah, I don't know what your time is, or whether you've got time for like a 2 or 3 minute
Yeah.
activation from the Galactics, because I feel that they wish to come in. What they're saying, we'll do it in a sec, but what they're saying to me is that we appreciate that there are many on the planet at this time that are experiencing the emotion of overwhelm. Okay,
Definitely.
so this done closer now. Yeah. So they wish to come in and okay, they wish to come in and calm our central nervous system, which is obviously our physical body, and they wish to come in with this. Okay, thank you. All right. So
Yeah.
let's just see where we go. We'll just be
Yeah.
a couple of minutes.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's good. Let's do it.
Just enjoy. Just enjoy.
I'm going to receive.
So let's all just take a beautiful breath in to our heart space. And we'll just be in an open heart to receive whatever is for our highest and best good. So let's just imagine our Earth star under our feet, grounding into Mother Earth, into this beautiful new Earth that we're creating. Good. And then the soul star above our head, just really reminding us that we are source energy, holding a divine code of light to bring to this beautiful experience of ascension. And we're very pleased that you have invited us to assist you on this ascension pathway. And we wish to bring in a frequency of coding to allow you to access more light into your cells on this day. We realize that many of you have been feeling the density of the emotion of overwhelm with the planetary systems that are transforming and changing. And there is confusion, and we see this, and this is perfect at this time. In your human form, you see this as confusion. However, we see this as transformation, and we see the transformation already happening within your crystalline experience of your field. So we wish for you to receive this rainbow frequency When you hear the tone come through the channel, just receive this rainbow light through your third eye and into your heart and through into your sacral energy and down to Mother Earth, up to the crown, throughout the whole of your experience in your energy centers. So just feel that sense of peace and calm within your heart field, within your heart space. And the guides are saying to honor yourself today. Truly honor, they say, that you have chosen to come at this time to spread the encoding of your light during the transformation of the newness of the frequency that you call ascension. Truly honor yourself on this journey as we honor you more than you can ever imagine. And we love you more than you can ever imagine. Please call on us, not just through this channel. Please call on us to assist you at this time. We are the Rainbow Galactics of Ascension. And so it is.
And so it is. Body chills and all kinds of feelings. And yeah, thank you. Wow, beautiful. Thank you, Rainbow Galactic of Ascension. Thank you for seeing us and reminding us of what we're here being for humanity.
Yeah.
In a body, which is brave enough as it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and transforming the entire experience now to a higher vibration, to a higher octave for a new experience. Yes, feels good.
And they say that the holding of more light within our field is the key to the feeling of the peace and the trust within.
Yeah, it's kind of like that's why you keep pouring the light in, because the soil of our bodies with the conditions we were born into is somewhat repellent of water, even though it's highly thirsty for it. And so we just keep offering the water to our being so that we can keep receiving at deeper and deeper levels of fullness of light. And that's the card they've been showing me, is like, just keep receiving love, keep receiving love, keep receiving love.
Yeah.
Because the soil is so thirsty for the love, right? We're so thirsty for the love. And part of us has never experienced it. So there's fear. Yeah.
As I think they were saying, you can't imagine, the actual amount of honoring and the amount of love that the only experience I had of was many years ago on my awakening journey. And I remember asking, careful what you ask for, right? Again. I remember asking, I really want to feel what it feels like to experience love, like spirit love, like how it is. And I just remember this overwhelming feeling of like nothing like you've ever experienced before. And it was so strong, so strong. And obviously tears rolling down my eyes, but it was really incredible. And that is what they mean by
Yeah.
overwhelming, honoring, and love. It's
Mm.
not like human love, it's different.
Yeah, it's a very powerful feeling. I've experienced it a few times. Once,
Mm.
I mean, this was very powerful for me. It definitely brought tears to my eyes. And it's that remembrance of what love is.
Yeah.
When you've been here for a long time, you can forget, right?
Yes.
And it's like to allow her. That's why it's so important to just keep opening the space and letting the guides help us, because
Mm.
they're not embodied, we are. And so we need support to
Yeah.
elevate ourselves to a
Yeah.
new possibility than we could even imagine.
And why they're so honoring is that, we chose. Like, not every single soul chose, right, to come at this time. Some souls chose to stay and assist us, whereas other souls chose to come and experience the density of this planet. And so that's why they're so honoring of us. We always say thank you so much to our guides, but they're always like, no, thank you. you
Yeah,
know, like,
you were willing to take this mission
yeah,
impossible and disavow any knowledge of this mission if it doesn't work out.
yeah, yeah. And to constantly be
Mm.
sending our knowledge without realizing, but constantly be sending our knowledge of emotion, our knowledge of what it's like to be human. We're constantly sending that, without realizing.
Yeah,
But
I've
it's
actually realized
powerful.
that in a few medicine ceremonies that they collect data from me, the guides.
Yeah,
And they
yeah.
come in and I can notice it when I'm in medicine and I'm like, oh, they're collecting information from me. And it's like little tiny spaceships zooming in and then collecting the, it sounds crazy, but that's the way I experience it.
Well,
And they just
that's
come in and collect this data. And then they're like, okay, we got what we needed. And then that was okay, you're done with me.
yeah,
Cool. you know,
yeah.
but it's quite an intense experience to be here at this time. And
Hmm.
where we're going is going to be is just magical, and I've had glimpses of it, and it's we're just at the beginning stages of how cool it's going to be. And
Yeah.
I was asking the guides, am I still going to be able to function when I'm feeling that much joy? Like, will
What
I
would it be
need
like?
someone to wipe my bum? I just need to find out now, please, so I can hire the right person. So, yeah, that much love is going to be powerful to experience. And thank you so much for this gift of love, Susan, and for all that
Oh,
you are. Such a
thank you.
blessing. I'm just so grateful for our friendship and getting to share your gift with more people. Thank you so much for all you
You're so
do.
welcome. Thank you.
Beautiful. Okay, everyone. So go check out Susan's book. It's on Audible. So of course, buy the Audible version. You're gonna have her lovely voice. You're gonna get the meditations recorded. So of course you want the Audible. So go check it out. And again, I'm going to put a link in the show notes below, but the book is called Awaken the Light Within Your Heart. And we did not get a chance to talk about it today, but she's got a children's book coming. So I guess I'll have to have you back after you publish that
Yeah,
book and we'll
it's
talk
called The
about it.
Guardian Wings, and it's really for children to remember. It's a magical story, and it's for children to remember who they are.
I love
Yeah,
that.
how they're of service to the planet in a magical way. So I'm excited.
Yeah, that's coming very soon. So this will not be the last time we talk to Susan. I'm gonna it cannot be. So I'll publish all this in the show notes, and I just want to invite kisses for everybody. Thank you so much for staying with us, everyone. And here comes your kisses. We love you. Mm. Love you, love you, love you. Have a wonderful week, everybody. Bye for now. If you found even one gold nugget in this episode of Soul Nectar Show, will you do us a favor? Will you subscribe, like, and share this episode?
Maybe even write a comment and let us know what you thought about it. We really, really want to engage with you at a much deeper level. Let's be part of community together. Have a great week, everyone. Bye for now. To dive in deeper to nourishing conversation, visit soulnectar.show.
Soul Nectar Show. Awaken, Awaken Show. Take a sip from the drip of the nectar, from the source of who you are. Yeah, yeah.